what do I think is going on here? Let's say, I'm a psychologist. I'm borrowing here a diagram from dialectical behaviour therapy, which is one of the therapies I use, which encapsulates quite nicely ideas which I've written lots about. I'm not going to go into this in any detail. Ideas about the way the brain is wired up. And that basically we've got two separate circuits. They work together most of the time, but they really are rather separate. And they came about in evolutionary terms at different times. Your emotional mind, the implicational, is the default system, and then we became these fancy verbal human beings, and we added on this reasonable propositional one. And when all is going well, these two are talking to each other, and we become these super clever people that we are, perhaps a little bit too clever sometimes, but at high or at low arousal, they separate out, and we're left with the one on the right. So I think it is that simple. So what does this give us? This gives us two ways of knowing, two very different ways of knowing or experiencing. So that's where my way of experiencing thing comes in. So good everyday functioning is these two circles working together. High at low arousal, one becomes dominant, and this gives us that different quality of experience that is the mystical or the crisis or whatever you like to call it. And I think what I'm arguing here is that everybody has got the potential to go across that threshold. It isn't just certain people. Everybody, given the right circumstances, it's part of human potential, and an important one. Opening a door to, literally, to a wider universe. What I mean by these two different sorts of experience, on the one side, it's ordinary. The people in the groups that I ran in the hospital would say it was boring. You have clear limits, access to ordinary knowledge, you know what's going on, you can really manage life in an efficient sort of fashion. A separation between people, it's really handy. Clear sense of self. On a good day, emotions are moderated and grounded, and very importantly, it's governed by a logic of either or. You might be deluded into thinking that's the only logic. Across the threshold, things feel supernatural, extraordinary, numinous, whatever you like to call it. Wow. It's unbounded, or terrifying. It's unbounded. Managing daily life becomes distinctly problematic. Everything is suffused with meaning or meaningless. Boundaries dissolve. The self is either lost in the whole or supremely important. This is a place of paradox. And if you think the spiritual literatures of the world are great on paradox, sound of one hand, clapping, all that stuff. And emotions swing between extremes or are completely absent. And it is governed by a logic of both and. And two contradictory things are simultaneously valid at the same time. Can't get your mind around that? No. Our tiny minds cannot get around that. So, this is, I think, a challenging model of the mind, but one that opens some doors. Human being becomes a wobbly balancing act, passing control between two systems. Neither of them is in control. There is no boss. That, to me, it's written in the book that I get, this Teasdale and Barnard. That was a wow. Yeah, that's it. The mind is simultaneously individual because when the two are working together, we're grounded in our self-consciousness. But when they separate out, we can step beyond that into a world of relationship. And we are partly relationship. And there's a constant switch between logic and emotion. That happens all the time, and that gives us human fallibility. And in our invocational mode, we are part of the whole. And the self-sufficient billiard ball mind is an illusion. The widest circle, the widest and the deepest circle of relationship is that sense of relationship with that which is widest and deepest, which human beings over the centuries have had. And some people will deny it, but that it is an experience of relationship. And in the other way of knowing, that is how we know about relationship. If you think about what's most important in your life, it's relationship. You don't learn about that through books or the internet. You know it because you feel it, which are the important relationships for you. So if we feel we have that relationship with that which is widest and deepest, who is to deny its reality?